George Gershwin never officially wrote a Christmas tune, but one of his little-known show tunes, Snowflakes, is beginning to turn up as a carol in waiting. Funding for the story of carols provided by Jim and Betty Holthauser in honor of their parents Alfred and Betty Marie Pence and Normand and Patricia Holthauser. George Gershwin, one of America's greatest composers, dropped out of school at age 15 to become a song plugger for the Remick Music Company. He composed his first Broadway score when he was only 19. A year later, he wrote Swanee, his first million seller, with Irving Caesar. He would go on to write Rhapsody in Blue, Concerto in F, and some of the best-loved standards from the Great American Songbook before his untimely death at age 39. But when he was just 22, Gershwin wrote a song called Snowflakes for a revue called The Broadway Brevities. The show, written by George Lemaire, opened at the Winter Garden on Labor Day 1920 and featured some of the best talent of the era. Eddie Cantor was a vaudeville singer-dancer who worked his way up to Broadway, eventually becoming a star in radio, motion pictures, and television. His charity work helped countless institutions. Bert Williams was a legend, widely considered the greatest comedian in the nation. An American born in the Bahamas, Williams, like Eddie Cantor, began his career in vaudeville, eventually appearing in Into Homie, the first Broadway musical written and performed by African Americans. He was also the first black performer to be featured in an otherwise all-white Broadway show, the Ziegfeld Follies of 1910. His role in the Follies made Williams a huge star. In 1922, Williams collapsed on stage. The audience laughed, thinking it was part of the act. It was the last laugh Williams got. He died a few days later at home in New York. He was 47. Booker T. Washington said of Williams, "He's done more for our race than I have." But it was Edith Haller who would have the privilege of being the first to sing George Gershwin's Snowflakes in the Broadway Brevities of 1920. The song was mostly an oversight at the time, and the show itself was beset with problems. The Tribune's legendary theater critic Haywood Brown pronounced it the worst musical show he ever saw, referring to it as a collection of little old last year's dirty stories. Bad reviews weren't the only issue. In December, the sheriff arrived to repossess the costumes, leaving a bevy of chorus girls with nothing at all to wear, just as they were about to go on stage. And the music didn't go over well either. All of the songs were overlooked by the critics, including one by Irving Berlin and 4 by Gershwin. But a century on, Snowflakes is making a comeback. The poignant melody evokes images of a cozy walk down a glistening snow-encrusted lane, hand in hand with the one you love, or even a contemplative stroll through Robert Frost woods on a snowy evening. And while the song may not seem like a good candidate for a Christmas song, the lyric, a typical love song from the 1920s, doesn't mention Christmas at all. But the same can be said for Let It Snow and I've Got My Love to Keep Me Warm, both traditional holiday favorites. Snowflakes was understandably overshadowed by the composer's more famous classics, but the elegant little Gershwin melody is getting a new life in the 21st century as a carol in waiting.